Hi, welcome back to yoga. And we're going to do bringing yoga into our daily lives today. We started with the 5 Yamas. First one is Ahimsa, nonviolence. Second one is Sutya, virtue, truthful. Asteya is the third one, non-stealing. And number 4 is Brahmacharya, which is moderation, and number 5 is Aparigraha, non-attachment. So today we'll be working on Sutya, virtue and truthfulness. So how we're going to bring that onto the mat or into our daily lives is being truthful in your thought, speech, and action. Speaking your truth, being authentic. The virtuous restraint from falsehood and distortion of reality in one's expressions and actions. How we can practice this slowing down, filtering, and carefully considering our words so that when we choose them, they are in harmony with the first Yama, Ahimsa, non-violence, not judging, criticizing, and comparing, always being kind in our speech, speaking your truth with respect, compassion, and kindness, making more conscious decisions during our day. So today, our meditation at the end of class will be I choose to live from the level of my true self. All right, so getting started, noticing that being truthful starts in our thoughts, our speech, and ends in our actions. So today, whether we're sitting or standing, we're going to start with our sound. So we're going to do third eye for thought, and that is Om. And then we're going to do hum for speech and listening. Hum. And then the last one will be Ram. That's where we take our goals and actions and we actually bring everything into action here at the solar plexus. That is our action center. So finding hip width distance apart or finding yourself seated, comfortable, feeling length through the back here for a moment. Maybe take a moment to roll through the shoulders. Finding the breath as we inhale and exhale through the nose. Nice deep breath, relaxing the body. One more time. Exhale, releasing. Let's let the shoulders go. Start to feel the core tighten. Maybe we bring palms facing up and touch the thumbs together. Just relaxing. So we're going to bring in our Bija mantras, Om, Hum, Ram. We're going to do this in one exhale. We're going to do it 3 times. So let's inhale. Om, Hum, Ram. Om, Hum, Ram. Last one. Om, Hum, Ram. And now just take a few deep breaths, feeling the alignment, the vibration we created within. Allowing that peace and calming to move all the way through the body as we focus on the breath today. And maybe bringing in an intention today for being authentic, being able to speak your truth. Nice deep breaths. All right, we are going to come back to the ground. So if we're already on the ground, maybe coming down to our backs here, we're going to do our full belly breathing. So you're going to come all the way down to the back. Feet are hip width distance apart. Heels are towards the glutes. Knees point up towards the ceiling. We're going to relax here, relaxing the back all the way down. Let's bring one hand to the low abs or our sacral chakra. Just below the navel is our low dantian. And then we're going to bring one hand to our heart chakra, our mid dantian. So here we're going to feel the breath, letting it fill the body. Feeling an expansion all the way through, then exhale, feeling that sink all the way back down into the earth. Nice deep breath, inhale, expanding. And exhale, releasing and relaxing. One more time, inhale, expand. And exhale, releasing back down into the earth. Let's bring our hands to our sides, palms face the floor. We're going to start with warming up our hips, our back. So draw those heels close to the glutes, palms face the ground. Let's inhale and lift all the way up into our bridge. And let's exhale and release that bridge. Again, inhale, lift the hips, lift the glutes, high, and exhale, release back down. Inhale, lift the hips, bridge, and exhale, release. This time in our bridge, instead of lifting up a whole flat back, we're going to curl through the tailbone, through the sacrum, all the way through each and every vertebrae. So press the palms down, start to tuck those abs in. We're inhaling, maybe even exhaling as we start to draw the hips up. We're moving one vertebrae at a time, lifting all the way up. And as soon as we get as high as we think we can, we're pressing those palms into the ground, rolling those shoulders back. We're taking another deep breath. And as we exhale, we're going to lift a little bit higher. Holding it there, we're going to inhale, expand. And you're going to exhale and lift just a little higher. Take a nice deep breath in. And let's exhale, slowly release one vertebrae at a time down into the mat. All the way down. Let's take one knee, draw it in towards the chest, interlace the fingers, pulling in towards our midsection. And let's release that. We're going to bring the other leg, drawing that knee towards the heart, towards the chest, towards our mid-center. Squeezing tight as we breathe. And release. Moving back to that first leg, coming back, knee towards the chest. Take a nice deep breath here. And as we exhale, let's use the abs. Let's start to curl the head up, bringing the forehead towards the knee. Abs are tucking in. We're rounding the shoulders up. We're still breathing in and out the nose as we do this. And let's exhale, slowly release that. Moving to the other leg, knee to chest, interlace fingers, take a nice deep breath. As we exhale, once again, start to lift the head. Start to tuck in those abs as we bring the forehead closer to our knee. Still breathing in and out of the nose. One more breath. And let's exhale, release. Let's go ahead and bring the heels close to the glutes again. Inhale, lift back up into our bridge. This time, bring the palms underneath. As we bring the palms underneath, they face the ground. We're going to set those glutes, the low back, and hips right on top. Protecting the low back, let's draw the knees in towards the chest. And then inhale, lengthen like we have legs up that invisible wall. We're lengthening all the way through the heels, toes towards the nose. Our abs are engaged here. Our back is pressing down into the floor. Let's go ahead and inhale, open into straddle, opening the legs, keeping those toes tucked in so that the longest point is our heel. And then let's slowly bring it back to hip width distance apart, taking our time. Take a nice deep breath. Let's exhale, knees towards the chest. And this is where we're going to start pointing the toes. We're coming into our partial bridge. Let's inhale, point the toes away, coming into a into a diagonal here. As we point the toes, hip width distance apart, our abs are engaged. Let's exhale and start to bring knees back to the chest, dorsiflex the feet. Inhale, lengthen up towards the ceiling. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale, point the toes coming into that boat, hip width distance apart. Exhale, bring knees back towards the chest. Inhale, lengthen up the wall. Exhale, knees towards the chest. Inhale, point the toes coming back into our boat. Exhale, let's bring those knees back to the chest. Inhale, legs up the wall. We only have one more set here. Exhale, knees to the chest. Point the toes, inhale, drawing back up into our boat. Exhale, bring it back, knees to chest. Inhale, lengthen up the wall. And exhale, let's open up into our center straddle again. Then slowly, as we inhale, we bring it back up. And let's exhale, bring the feet all the way back to the ground. Lift the glutes up in for bridge. Release those hands. Exhale, releasing the bridge. Keep the palms grounded. Start to tuck the knees back in towards the chest. Start to lift the legs back up the wall. Let's open back up into our straddle while we have dorsiflexion with the toes. Bring the arms now between the legs, palms face each other, shoulder width distance apart. Let's take a nice deep inhale. And as we exhale, we're lifting slowly up, head off the ground, shoulders off the ground, and we're drawing our fingertips forward as we also have the navel tucked in and our back pressed into the floor. One more breath. Let's exhale and release. Keeping the legs open. Let's inhale, drop the head, shoulders. Exhale, reach it forward. And slowly, let's inhale, bring it back down. We're only going to do one more. Exhale, lift the head, reach forward. And inhale, let's lengthen back down. Let's bring the hands back down to our side. Exhale, start to bring those legs back to hip width distance apart. Bring the knees bent. Draw the knees into the chest. Taking those hands, let's just move side to side for a moment. As we move side to side, our back feels good. We're getting a little bit of a massage here. We want to bring it into happy baby while we're here on our backs. So let's open up the knees, stack ankles to knees here, dorsiflex the feet, and try to bring two peace fingers around the big toes. Let the legs be open wide. You want the knee to hip, the quad right here on top to be coming towards the floor beside your torso. So go ahead and inhale, lengthen through the arms, and as we exhale, let's relax the shoulders back and down, even soften the elbows, and draw those quads closer to the floor beside us. And just taking nice deep breaths, checking in with our back, with our body. Do we feel that the head isn't lifted, that we're not rounded upward, that we're actually able to have full contact here on the floor, the back, the vertebrae, the shoulders, the head? If you do, let's go ahead and start to move left and right. Getting a little bit of a low back massage here. Nice deep breaths. And let's settle back to center. We're going to open, straddle, try to lengthen through the knees. And then exhale, we bend the knees. We even soften the elbows. Inhale, let's lengthen through the arms, lengthen through the legs. And let's exhale, tighten those abs. Bring that compressing breath down into the back as we bend the knees. Inhale, straddle, opening up. And exhale, soften, bend the knees, soften the elbows. Let's go ahead and release that. We want to gently release and come to our left side while we have bent knees. As we have bent knees to the left side, let's continue to roll all the way up. As we come all the way to the floor, we're pressing that floor away from us by using arm strength and hands. Let's take a moment in easy cross-legged style, sitting nice and tall. We're gonna let the head move to one side. Relax the shoulders. And let's exhale, let the chin come back down. Cross the chest, moving all the way over to the other side. Remember to relax the shoulders here. Go ahead and bring up that same hand, gentle pressure on the head, and the other hand on the shoulder as if we're pulling it away from each other. Right now, our gaze is forward, our spine is lengthened, our abs are engaged. We're gonna release the hands here all the way to the lap. You're gonna take the chin and start to look downward. So start to look towards the armpit, maybe the leg or the floor. Stretching now towards the back part of the neck here. And let's start to rotate that head. So the head still is to our side, but now we're rotating, looking upward. Stretching more of the front parts of the side neck. And let's exhale, start to release the chin back down across the chest. And as we come all the way over to the opposite side, we're bringing the gaze forward, relaxing the shoulders. And we're going to start bringing that chin down towards the armpit. Looking down at the lap or arm, feeling the stretch in the side back part of the neck. And then let's take our time as we're still over to that side. We're going to slowly rotate our gaze, looking upward. As the muscles now start to move, stretch in the front side of the neck. And let's release. Starting to allow the chin to come all the way down. We're going to meet all the way center chin into chest. And then let's go ahead and inhale, bring the arms up and over. Bring the gaze all the way up, stretch through the fingertips, tighten those abs. So the rib cage, the abs, everything is moving towards the navel. We're drawing energy and our muscles tightening towards the navel as we pull back towards our spine. Let's go ahead and exhale. We're going to hinge forward at the hips, let the arms be to the side, and it's just a gentle hinging, starting to warm up our hips here and starting to open up through the glutes and legs. And we're trying to keep a flat back, so I have a nice flat back, lengthening through the vertebrae. My heart leads me forward. I'm hinging at the hips, my abs are tucked in. Focusing on the breath as the inhales expand those tension, that tight area. As we exhale, release. Allow it to relax as we draw space into the hips, into the glutes, into the knees and our back. We have one more breath here. Go ahead and start to release and come all the way back up as we have. Let's move our legs. Since we have them crossed one direction, let's cross them the opposite direction. Sitting nice and tall, grab a hold of the knees. We're going to exhale into that cat-like pose, navel to spine, chin into chest, round all the way through the tailbone. Let's rock to one side. Bring the heart forward to the knee. We're going to inhale, rolling the shoulders back, pressing all the way over to the other knee. And then we're going to exhale, round it back, round through the shoulders. Navel compresses to the spine. Inhaling to the knee, drawing the shoulders back. Heart forward to the other knee. And exhale, letting it round back. Last one, moving in this direction. Inhale, forward. Nice deep breath as it expands through the hips. Exhale, moving back. Let's move the opposite direction now. So our circular direction was one direction, and we're moving the other. Making circles. Exhale, rounding back. Inhale, moving heart center to the knee. Shoulders roll back, moving to the opposite knee. And exhale, round it back. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Let's start to lengthen up through the spine, moving our legs to one side or the other as we're coming up to all fours. As we come up to all fours, let's inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhaling, cat. Inhale, cow. And let's exhale, cat. Let's move the forearms down. We want to come into our plank. So let's find shoulder, elbow alignment, forearms down. We're coming into our forearm plank. We're going to glide the feet back. Coming into a nice flat back. Feet are hip width distance apart. Abs are tucked in. Shoulders are rolled back. We have shoulder, elbow alignment. We're pressing into our forearms. Let's start to move to our side plank. So moving to the side plank, you just switch the feet, you lift the arms. Nice deep breath here. Let's move back to our forearm plank. And we're gonna switch to the other side. So remember the legs, the feet, move to the side. We find balance as we press through the forearm and we lift through the arm. And let's bring it back to a forearm plank. Slowly release the knees, releasing the abs all the way down. We're gonna bring our hands by each side of the chest, draw those elbows back, roll the shoulders back, release the forehead. Inhale, we're coming into that baby cobra as we lift the palms, draw the shoulders and elbows back towards the midline and towards the back. And let's go ahead and release. The next one is a regular cobra. We're going to inhale, keep the hands right where they're at, same position. You can also choose baby cobra here if you're not quite ready for cobra. Remember to check in with the low back. Keep your gaze forward, keep the shoulders rolled back. It's up to you how far we extend through those arms. So remember, we can also keep bent elbows. We're just rolling the shoulders back, shining the heart forward. Let's go ahead and release all the way down. And as we release all the way down, coming into Superman. So we're just extending through the shoulders all the way out to the fingertips. And we're extending through the hips all the way out through the toes. We're going to do our spinal balance here. So go ahead and inhale, bring up one arm and the opposite leg. Lifting up off the mat, keeping those abs tight. We're going to exhale, release. Inhale, lifting. Opposite hand, opposite leg, switching sides. Let's exhale and release. And in between, you could release the forehead. We lift the head as we inhale, lifting the leg and arm. And as we exhale, we slowly release. Inhale, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, release. Let's bring the hands all the way back to the sides of the chest. Elbows tuck in to the rib cage. Shoulders roll back. Kneeling plank as we inhale and press up through the palms. Let's exhale and move it all the way back into a child's pose. And let's start off today with our wide-legged extended child's pose. So let's open the knees. Let's start to bring the forearms down. Remember, you can keep the back flat, elongated, release the head, and just allow the forearms to be there for you. Keeping those knees open, or you can stretch it all the way out and release the forehead. Focusing back on the breath and back on the throat as we come into our Ujjayi breath, where we just tighten the vocal cords just enough to hear a little bit of a noise as we breathe in and out of the nose. Start to bring ourselves back up. And as we do, knees come back together. Coming into our hero's pose, we're sitting back on our heels. Let's inhale, lengthen up. And if you need to, if this is too much for you, you could either bring a pillow and put it under the legs. If it's too much for the knees, just bring it all the way up to camel. So we're fine at coming into camel here. So whether we're sitting in hero's pose or camel, let's go ahead and inhale, lengthen all the way up. And exhale, we're going to twist open to one side using the muscles of our waist, of the sides, of our obliques. Let's inhale, lengthen forward and up. And exhale, twist. So whether we're in hero's pose or camel's pose, we're inhaling, lengthening up, and we're exhaling, opening up to one side. Inhale, lengthening up, and exhale, we open to the opposite side. And it's also another option where you bring the head, whether you're looking back, forward, or to the side. Nice deep breaths, moving with the breath. Exhales, we open. Inhales, we lengthen forward. And this is our last one. Let's exhale. Inhale, forward up. And exhale, release. So whether we're in camel or we're in hero's pose, let's bring the palms back. Let's lift the glutes and actually tuck the toes now under. So we are back to dorsiflexion as the balls of the feet and toes tuck right under the heels. Then let's bring the glutes back and use a little bit of pressure into our hands as we press back, opening up both the calf muscle here through the ankle and all the way into the sole of the foot. And starting to bring it forward. We want to come all the way forward, or coming more forward than just knee, hips. And we're going to come down to the forearms. This time, forearms are shoulder width distance apart. We're trying to align the forearms and fingers with the elbows straight forward. We're going to exhale into our puppy pose as we open the shoulders and bring the forehead down. Our glutes are in the air, our abs are tucked in. All right, coming back up from our puppy pose, opening those shoulders. Let's bring it all the way back up into palm so that we can come into our downward facing dog as we lift through the glutes. Start to bicycle the legs here. And when we're ready, let's open up into our wide-legged dog, so it's further out, not just hip width distance apart, but a lot further out, and those toes still point forward. Starting to press the heels a little bit closer to the ground, flatten through the back, sending the energy all the way through the back tailbone, and then down through the legs. Let's start to press our palms back as we come into our straddle now. All the weight should be into the legs. Those knees are soft. Taking nice deep breaths. Let's bring our palms back down. flatten through the back. We're going to send one hand in center. And we're going to come up into that windmill as we have that flat back. Inhale, reaching up. Let's exhale, releasing our windmill straddle. Switching hands, centering the opposite hand. Fingers spread wide. Remember, 3 breaths as we inhale, lengthen up. And let's exhale, release. As we release, keep those knees soft. Let's bring our hands to our hips. Release the head and start to say yes. Shaking the head yes. And then shaking the head no. Keep those knees soft as we start to come up flat back. So press into those soles of the feet right now. We're parallel with the floor. We're going to add arms into our airplane. So we have center straddle, airplane here, flatten through the back. Arms stretch back, palms face the floor. Knees are still soft, abs are tight. Lengthen through the vertebrae. Let's release our hands back into the hips. Keep that flat back as we lengthen slowly up. Using our legs to bring ourselves up and our abs. Let's go ahead and inhale, lengthen up and over. And exhale, release. Inhale, lengthen up. And this time, let's exhale, palms together, heart center. Start to heel toe. Keep those knees soft as we heel toe back. And as we heel toe back, let's move a little bit wide again. So we're coming out. This time, toes are pointing the same directions and our knees will bend. So check in with your body. You have a wide stance. It's probably wider than your shoulders or about at your shoulder width. And then you're checking toes point the same direction, our knees bend, and that the knees align with our ankles. Let's go ahead and inhale, lengthen all the way up and over. We're going to exhale into our sunflower. So hinge back. We're going to keep the body lengthened for this one, or the torso sitting up as we make that full circle with the hands. Let's inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, another sunflower, this time option to hinge forward at the hips, keep the back flat, and sweep even closer to the floor. Inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, coming back into sunflower. Option to hinge forward, sweeping the floor, and inhale, lengthen back up. Last one, exhale, sunflower. Option to also not have to hinge. You can just stay here, lengthening through the back. Inhale, lengthen up. And now we're gonna exhale into our sun. So sun is palms facing up, knees are bent, shoulders roll back. Length through the torso, our glutes hinge back. Our knees don't surpass our toes. We have alignment. We have breath. And let's inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart. As we come back to hands to heart, let's move to hip width distance apart. We want to come into our bamboo in the wind for feeling that energy all around us. So what we're going to do is keep about hip width distance apart, maybe come in a little bit more, and then keep the heels grounded as you bring the 2 big toes together, touching. Keep the knees soft. Go ahead and roll the shoulders back. Release the arms, the fingers, and just close the eyes. And allow the breath to move the body, expanding and releasing. And you may feel like bamboo in the wind, allowing that flow of energy as it moves. centering our mind, centering our thoughts to be more positive, less reactive. Keeping in mind kindness as we continue to focus, allowing alignment. And let's go ahead and start to open the eyes again. We're going to step it back out to hip width distance apart. And as we come back to hip width distance apart, let's come towards the back part of our mat. You can bring hands to hips. We're going to step right forward. Remember, the more challenging, if you want the exercise to be more challenging for you, it just means further apart the legs. If you need it to be less challenging for you, you draw the legs a little bit closer together. We still have our hip width distance apart here. We're setting up for a warrior. Knee ankle alignment, toes point forward. Hips are also pointing forward for our warrior one. That back leg is lengthened and at an angle. Let's go ahead and inhale and lengthen all the way up and over. Nice deep breath in warrior one. We're going to open right up to warrior two. Open the hips, lengthen the arms. So my legs stayed the same. My feet are grounded. I simply moved the hips, opened them up, and lengthened through the arms. I check in with my knee that's forward, especially because that one has a tendency to move inward with warrior two. Let's go ahead and open back up. Let's lengthen through both legs now. And lengthen all the way through center where we stretch up for the sky. And we're going to exhale again back into warrior two. Then let's go ahead and palms face up. Inhale, lengthen all the way through the body, legs and arms. And exhale back into warrior two. And release the hands to our sides. Hips now rotate forward facing again where we started. And we're simply going to take that opposite hand to the front leg, come to the lateral side, and the other hand back towards the hip, reaching the opposite hip as we keep lengthening the torso and just open through the side body. So we're twisting, wringing out the body, detoxifying here. Nice deep breaths. And let's exhale, release that. Let's step forward, hip width distance apart here. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, let's move into forward fold. Go ahead and give yourself a squeeze. Maybe grab a hold of the elbows, arms, wrists. Release that. Let's inhale into a half back, so hands on the shins, coming up to the knees, flatten the back, roll the shoulders back, knees soft. Send all that energy down the glutes and hamstrings as we lift all the way back up. Let's inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, release. So coming back to where we were, let's go ahead and step the opposite leg back. So whichever leg was stepped forward, we're moving the opposite back so that we are taking turns. Let's have again, hips face forward, lengthen that back leg at an angle, knee ankle alignment, toes point forward. Warrior one, let's inhale, lengthen all the way up in our warrior one. And remember, we're coming right into warrior two, so all we're doing is opening the hips, bringing the arms out, looking forward towards the front arms, checking our knee. Make sure it didn't tilt inward. You can still see the big toe. Lengthening back, our abs are tight. We're lengthening through the torso. The shoulders are relaxed. We're pressing the soles of the feet into our mat as if we're pulling it apart by pressing down and out. Engaging the quads, our legs. Let's go ahead and inhale, lengthen all the way back up through center. Lengthen both legs. And exhale, rebend that knee, warrior two. Inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, warrior two. Now remember, we're going to release those arms, and as we sweep them down, hips move back forward facing for our warrior one. We're going to take this opposite hand to the lateral side of our leg and take the other hand back towards the hip. And we're just lengthening through the vertebrae. Shoulders relaxed, and we're twisting, opening up into a revolving twist for our warrior one. Let's go ahead and exhale. We're going to come back forward facing. Let's step it forward. And as we do, we're going to come into our warrior three today. So let's take a moment here. Find our feet hip width distance apart. Soften through the knees. Hands by our sides. Let's roll the shoulders back. We can even bring palms face forward and start to spread our arms slightly out for our airplane, helping us balance in our warrior three. Let's start to hinge to one side or bring the weight to one side and start to lengthen through the heel towards the back wall. We're going to keep the hips side by side, so we're just slowly finding balance, keeping length from heel to crown of head as we move all the way into our warrior three. Palms face the floor, outstretching fingertips towards the back wall, length all the way through the vertebrae. Finding the breath. And let's exhale, slowly start to release that as we come back up, hinging nice and slow and releasing that back to the floor. Let's inhale, lengthen up and over. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's move into half back, keep those knees soft. And exhale, open all the way up, use the glutes. Lengthen the back. Now let's bring it all the way back down to the heart. Go ahead and release the arms back into that airplane pose. Palms face forward, stretch the arms back. Start to bring the weight to the opposite leg. Slowly starting to hinge back. Remember, we hinge forward and back at the same time, so we keep length from heel all the way to the crown of the head, like a teeter-totter as we start to lift. And then we lengthen, so we're pressing the sole of the foot, the heel towards the back wall, and the crown we're lengthening towards the front of us. We find balance with our hips side by side, not lifting one higher than the other. And then we're going to slowly start to release that. We can bend the knee, taking our time to slowly come back up. Coming back into that hip width distance apart. Let's inhale, lengthen up and over. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming into monkey, either hands on shins, hands on the ground. Inhale, look forward, press the heart forward, shoulders roll back. Let's exhale, bring the palms into the ground, step it back into downward facing dog. Moving forward into our plank pose. And as we move into plank, we're aligning shoulders to wrists. We're going to move into crocodile by drawing the elbows close, hinging at the hips, keeping the back flat, bringing ourselves down slowly. And then from there, as we release, you choose whether we move into baby cobra or we press down, move into full cobra. And let's go ahead and release whichever one we were in. Remember, now we tighten the core, kneeling plank as we inhale. And let's exhale, move into any child's pose of your choice. Starting to make our way back up. We're going to bring it all the way into our camel. And as we come into camel, hip width distance apart, let's step 1 foot forward. As we step 1 foot forward, maybe we crawl the toes just a little bit more forward, as right now we're hip stacked above the knee. And we want this knee now to pull forward as we open up through the groin area. And we're pressing our hips forward and down towards the mat evenly. You could use hands on top of the knee here. Nice deep breaths. All right, third breath. We're going to move into that revolving twist again. So same direction as the leg that is bent in front of you, both hands come to the lateral side and just twist through it, looking over the shoulder to the side. And let's exhale, release down. As we release down, we're going to start to bring it back into our camel. Let's inhale, camel. Exhale. Release. We're going to take the opposite leg. Step it forward. Find your balance. And then start to use the toes to crawl yourself forward to add a little bit more length here so that the knee can bend a little bit more. Now you're starting to feel into that low back behind us and in the front, opening up the hip flexors. You can bring hands to knee, starting to draw the hips and energy forward and down towards the mat. Roll the shoulders back. Try to keep length in the back here. Finding balance, stability as we lengthen through the muscles. Focus on the breath. After 3 breaths, we're going to move again to that revolving twist, so palms face the lateral side of that front leg, and we simply keep the vertebrae stacked and start to twist and open up, maybe looking beside us or behind us. Continue to allow the hips to move forward down towards the mat. And let's exhale. We're going to release again. Hands can come down. We're simply bringing that weight and energy back, bringing it all the way back. We're going to come all the way down to our mat. So we're coming all the way back down to the glutes. And make sure you have plenty of room behind you. No objects to knock you out or anything, so that you can relax and come all the way back into our back. Knees towards the chest. Go ahead and hang on to the knees, inhale, expanding through the abs as we hang on to the knees and press away. And exhale, knees to the chest. Let's inhale, start to stack knees and hips again. Bring the arms out. Let's exhale, one side. Keep the shoulders grounded here. You can even look over the opposite shoulder as the legs are moving the other direction. Another option is that hand can come right on top of that top leg, helping twist by pressing down towards the earth. And let's go ahead, release. Tighten those abs, press the back into the floor, round the back as we come back to center. We're just gonna move all the way over to the other side. Keep the arms, shoulders open, grounded on the floor. Option to bring the head gazing opposite direction. And another option, of course, is the hand on top of the top leg, pressing back down towards the earth. Let's go ahead and exhale, releasing that, coming back to center. Last time, give yourselves a hug, squeeze those knees in, maybe tuck the chin in, and just round through the back, maybe moving in circles if it feels good to you. Whatever feels good to you here on the back, as we have protection and those knees drawn into the chest here. It's a good time to roll around on the back, massaging the back here. And when you're ready, you can release those legs. We're coming right into our Shavasana. So here we get comfortable. Maybe a towel under the neck, maybe a mask to block out the sunlight or things that might take you away from meditating. And just allow the legs to outstretch. Allow those feet to open. Allow the palms to be face up. And in fact, let's start off with our first breath. which we started off with a hand over the low dantian or sacral chakra and a hand over the heart chakra or the mid dantian. And we're starting with that full belly breath where we inhale, we expand. Exhale, releasing. And we're turning it into that Ujjayi breath with the throat. So inhale, expand. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Continue breathing in and out of the nose here. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. As we close the eyes, bringing in peace. Coming back to where we started, Sutya, virtue, truthfulness. Being truthful in your thought, speech, and action. Speaking your truth, being authentic. The virtuous restraint from falsehood and distortion of reality in one's expressions and actions. How we can practice this is by slowing down, filtering carefully, considering our words, so that when we choose them, they are in harmony with the first Yama, Ahimsa, non-violence, not judging, criticizing, and comparing, being kind always, and speak your truth with respect, compassion, kindness, making more conscious decisions during our day. I choose to live from the level of my true self. I choose to live from the level of my true self. There is only one time that is important. Now. It is the most important time when we have any power. The decision to live in the now means we consciously, knowingly recognize that awareness is our true nature. Instead of ignoring that truth, when we see ourselves as separate or ego, trying to get power to make us happy, we will always feel weak inside. When we are self-aware, in the present moment, we are connected to the infinite power of creation and feel the confidence and strength that comes with having the support of the universe within us. Keeping in mind our present moment is the most powerful moment we have. We could only be and act in the now. truthful in our thought, in our speech, and in our action. And now coming back to that breath of awareness, letting the inhales and exhales move through the body once again. As we start to bring movement back to our fingers, our hands, bringing movement back to our toes, our feet, our legs. And when we're ready, maybe taking that nice deep breath and stretching overhead. Really stretching. And then releasing and letting go. Opening the eyes back to our present moment awareness as we move to the side and come all the way back up from sitting or from lying down. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. Have a wonderful day.